Hello and welcome to Menacing MTG. Tonight we're going to do a budget deck, which is also a very strong deck in the meta game. Very simple to play with a few bits of knowledge. You can be up with this deck and just having immense success and kind of possibly carry you to Mythic. The core of this deck is Zenith Flare, a 4-drop that deals X damage to any target and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with cycling ability in your graveyard. So I try to keep everything besides the land with cycling, and that is true of this deck, and with the exception, of course, Zenith Flare. Okay, so I'm going to sneeze here, one sec. Okay, I'm back. All right, so we do have a commander here, Lurrus. This is not necessary to use him, but in a pinch, it could help you out. I'm going to sneeze again. Okay, so yeah, Lurrus, your companion. So you could bring him on, and he makes other things that you've cycled out accessible. And you may be in a pinch and bring him out. He's got lifelink, whatnot. But so he's in there. He does no harm. He's there for you to use if you need him. So the idea is just to cycle everything as fast as you can. And there's only 18 lands in this, 10 plains, 8 mountains. I've run 19, and I get mana flooded because we're cycling so crazily. Okay, so you want the idea behind Zenith Flare is that every one of these cards, which is, let's do the math here, 22, 38 cycling cards here. Everyone that goes into your graveyard contributes to this X on Zenith Flare. So if you just need like 1 land to get started. 2 is great, but you don't want too many lands coming on the board because it slows down your ability to cycle. So I'm just going to run through here. There are some cards, most of them cost 1 mana to cycle. There are a handful of ones that cost 2, and that's primarily because there aren't enough 1-cost cycling cards. There's also some cards in here that are useful at times. If you get into trouble, you can actually play them. So I will tell you this, that if I get Flourishing Fox in my hand, my opening hand, or early on, I put him on the board, because every time you cycle with a card, when he's on the board, he gets +1/+1. So he can get big quickly and be totally out of control. And the opponent needs to do something about him if they have the ability. So, let's start there. So you got 4 Flourishing Fox, 4 Footfall Crater, 4 Zenith Healer. Once in a while, you might put this on the board. If you have this and you have the ability to cycle 3 more times, it gains you 3 life. It puts a body on the board. If you're playing against somebody who doesn't have many creatures, you can cause them to remove it. Exiling, is bad news for this deck. It's terminal. If somebody has the ability to exile your graveyard, it's all over. But how many decks do you play against that have that feature? So I don't really recommend Zenith Healer playing that, but you may find a circumstance appropriate. Valiant Rescuer. This creates 1/1 token creatures when you cycle, but I wouldn't do it. I did play him in a recent game, and I'll tell you why. Because there was a creature with a power of 3, and I happened to have Go for Blood in my hand as well as the Valiant Rescuer. So I dropped the Valiant Rescuer, then I used the Go for Blood to kill their creature, and then they were both in the graveyard. So it was an effective move, It costs 4 mana, but you're going to find that by mid game, if somebody doesn't take you out very fast or have the exile thing, that you're going to have plenty of mana. Okay, so yeah, Valiant Rescuer, don't use it unless it's a weird situation like that. Now there's these colors that we don't have mana for, which we only have red and white mana. So anything blue or black, they're purely cycling cards. I'm not even going to read the matter on them. They're all cycling for 1. Okay, so there's 4 of those. 4 Drain the Stinger. Once in a while, you might be tempted to throw this on the board. If you have a lot of mana, you have this, you have a bunch of cycling cards, you throw it on, say you cycle 3 or 4 times, it does 4 damage to the opponent, it is 2/2 creature. And it could be a blocker or whatever. So there are times, this is probably more valuable than the healer. I probably use it more, but again, rarely use it. The goal here is if you have the right hand, you just run through this thing super fast. Go for Blood, you saw that, my example of that. Raking Claws, double strike, yeah. Maybe if you have a Flourishing Fox that's got 6/6 and they don't have a creature on the board and you can get this off, yeah, use it, but rarely. This is a cost 2 to cycle. The first card I've shown you with a cycling 2. So in case you're not familiar with the cycling thing, just when it's your turn, you can cycle a card, and it can't be bounced. You can just cycle. So it's kind of deems bounce decks neutered. So we got 4 Zenith Flares, 4 Frostveil Ambush, again, purely cycling. 1 Boon of the Wish Giver, purely cycling. 18 mana. So we should just go ahead and play some games. Okay, here we are, and I like this hand a lot. It's got Flourishing Fox. It's got a couple of white lands. Perfect. We put up the Fox. We'll see where we run to. We got 4 1-drop cyclers in hand, so we should be able to run 2 of them, get Flourishing Fox up to a 3/3 by the end of the turn, unless they remove it. Now, if this opponent has played Zenith Flare decks, he knows that he's got a challenge ahead of him. Another Flourishing Fox. Nope, I'm not going to bite. Maybe if we lose this Fox, we'll do it. So this is just beautiful. We've got 4 1-drop cyclers locked up here. Arguably too much mana at this juncture. Okay, they're going to go somewhere at some point, but the question is, will it be fast enough? And this is the optimum scenario to get the Fox in your hand first, so very fortunate first game out to get this. And we'll be getting a flare anytime soon, so we've already filtered through 14 cards, and they're going to be down to 11 life. And they got a major problem with that Fox. They have to get a blocker on the board. I'm just going to give a count here. So we've already cycled 5 cards. And so they've got a blocker, they draw a card. That's good news for them. They only have 2 mana, so this is bad news for them. Very bad indeed. And here's where the creature fights creature you don't control, and it's the absolute perfect use of this card because there he goes. He's done. Okay? So there it is. You could see the win rate there. I just pulled it down, but 66% win rate for this deck. Play another. Okay, here we are, game 2. No Flourishing Fox this time, and 3 mana, which is too much, but so not exactly ideal. We do have a Zenith Flare in hand, and we get another mana, which is exactly what we do not want. So we've only got 2 cyclers, and we've only got 1 that's a 1-drop, so, and we get another mana. Can you believe it now? We have 5 mana in 9 cards, and there's only 18 in the deck, okay? Not too pleased about that. And we'll put up the 1 just because we might get another one. We do not, we get another Zenith Flare. So we got plenty of mana to play those things. The problem is that they're worth nothing. They only come in and do 2 damage at this point. Alright, so we did get a 1, so we'll be able to do at least 2 here. We'll go with the 1 first. Flares go up to 3. We have another 1. We've got 2 2s now, so we're going to go ahead and do one of the 2s. And we get the Flourishing Fox. I probably will not do that because we've got 2 Zenith Flares and we need to take care of some business very quickly here. Looking for another 1-drop and we do get it. So, alright, so we got 4 mana, so we're hoping for the best here. And I suppose we could put the Fox up. He's just going to get blocked. He's just going to get destroyed anyway. And we're going to go ahead and do that. It's only a 1 mana cost. We could take the Innkeeper out. No, we don't have a Shredded Sails. Okay. Alright, so cannot do that. That means we're going to go ahead and run this. Will present a problem for them in so much as we have a 3/3 blocker now. Now our Zenith Flares are both up to 6. And we've got a 1 cycler and a 2 cycler in hand. Pretty darn good. Theoretically, in the end of 2 more turns, we could win this game. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it is altogether possible. So I'm going to hold on to the Valiant Rescuer right now. See if we can continue to get 1s. Okay, and we are getting 1s. We're going to put the mana up. So we could run a Flare now, but it just doesn't make sense, although this is a little scary to have him on. Draw a card. So we're going to have some adventure happening. They got 4 mana. They got the Beast waiting in the wings. They have the 1/1s. We do have a blocker, though, so we're just going to continue to roll these things through. He's getting big. And this may be the time to use the Valiant Rescuer. Oh my gosh, another Zenith Flare. Okay. Yeah, we're going to use this. It presents a major problem for them. So we should be able to win in 2 turns. Here, we're not going to attack. He's purely a blocker. We got 10 cycling cards in our graveyard, make that 11. So next turn, we're going to whack them. They're in a desperate position at this point. We get another mana, which is actually kind of good at this point. So we're going to go ahead and cycle here. And cycle. And Zenith Flare. Okay, 2 more in hand. There's nothing they can do here. It is over. Yep, they got a big creature, but it's meaningless because they need life. So they have 2 unused mana up there that I'm sure they can't do anything of significance with. And let's see what we got here. So we got 6 mana. This is the game. We'll just run these guys. That's it. Unless something miraculous happens that I'm unaware of. Let's game. Okay, so you can see this is an avenue to victories. I'll play 1 more. Okay, here we are, game 3. 3 straight games. Hoping for 3 straight wins is a good setup. We have 2 mana and 5 single cost. Oh, and there is the Fox. 5 single cost cyclers, still 5, 1 more mana, should be able to cycle twice, get him up to 3 if he's not removed. I'm wondering if this is rogues here. It looks to be rogues. Okay, you know, that is only helping me as long as they're not shuttling Zenith flares into there. We're going to see what we can get done here. Okay. They're going to be motivated to get rid of that fox. Discard 2 cards, lose 1 life. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. They're all 1 cost. They go into my graveyard, so they have yet to do any exiling, so that's good news. So it doesn't hurt my cause at all. We now have, we get another mana. We have 7 cycled cards in there. Now we can do 3 more. And the fox is going to be huge. We're looking for a land and a Zenith Flare. Here. Now he has Death Touch over there. There's a Zenith Flare, so we're up to 10 now, and we're not going to attack. These 2 cards, you know, I don't like that, but it does not break my heart. That's going to tap their mana out, and they're going to have to sit on this. Yeah, okay, so we now can run the flare. I'm going to do this. We want another flare. What we want is them not to be able to force us to discard flares. So right now, you know, 21 cards drawn or milled, and we still have 3 flares in the deck. I'm slightly tempted to bring Lurrus out, but I'm going to go ahead and keep this movement going, so that puts us at 15 for the flare, and we don't get another one. We'll just sit right here. But 15, and this guy gets killed. It makes 16. We're very close. We're going to mill here, so that's going to push our number up, and it's just guys we would mill, so it's fabulous. We're up to 17, so they're approaching terminal really quick here. So that would be 18. We're going to let that through. Okay, we are happy about that. We want another one. We want more cyclers here. We get yet another. So we're just about, next turn it should be over. If we don't get a cycler here, Lurrus will send Lurrus. Okay, so you can see that we currently have 20 on the Zenith Flare here, this number in the upper left-hand corner. We have an 11/11 Fox. We have a land in hand, so we're not going to attack. Now, I haven't seen them access our graveyard. It'd be a horrifying thing if they could exile our graveyard. But short of that, we win next turn, unless they can manufacture some significant life gain. I'm sure they'll come in with one of these thieves. Okay, yep, they'll come in with both of those thieves, but they have 2 mana left. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything to change the course of this. They could have bounce. They could indeed have bounce here. So I'm going to put this up here. So maybe just do a little trickery here. If they have bounce, would they use it? They don't. They're not to be... Okay, we're sliding Lurrus over just because if we lose this card now, we're in big trouble. So we're gonna take this risk. Oh, goodness gracious. That's stinking horrifying. Oh, good God. I'm going to lose my flares. Okay, this is a nightmare. I ditched the Lurrus. I didn't lose the flare. It's a miracle if they have another one of those. It's very bad. They don't appear to. We're going to block. And we're going to just have to come in with this flare this turn, regardless of what goes on. They've kept 2 mana the last 2 turns, and down it goes. Drown in a lock, and that's probably going to be a loss for us here. That's 2 flares down, and well, is that 2? Yeah, 2 down, so there's still 2 in the deck. In turn, and that's horrifying. No flare goes away. We only have 9. Ooh, no flare still with 19 cards. And that's the game. Okay, there's a loss. Darn it. I'm going to pause. Okay, back for the 4th and final game here, and it's a good layout. We got 2 mana and 2 Flourishing Fox. Bring 1 right on. That's all we'll bring on. We don't want to bring 2 on here. We want to move these guys through. Okay, they got the crab. Don't like that, but that can be helpful as long as we can get a Zenith Flare in our hands. We're okay with that. It's only going to take 1 against this deck. We're just going to test him right away. He doesn't go for it, but that's going to get big, and he's going to be tempted to block at some point, because this is not a defensive deck. Let's take a quick look. So we got 4 in there already. We are going to need some land, though. Get the task done, and they're going to remove him. That's 5. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and throw another fox up there, just kind of keep them on their heels. And yeah, I'll roll this through, making a 2. Meaning next turn you can come in and attack. So we have 6 in there. Okay, still no Zenith Flare, which is tremendously good luck at this point. We need to just focus on cycling this turn full on. We're hoping for a land. Hoping for a land here. Didn't get one, but maybe we'll pick one up along the way. Flare and a land would be perfect here. Want to secure those items as they're milling us pretty hard, and we don't get either of them, which is a total drag, and we're just going to come right on in. 13, I mean, it is possible we could win with just the fox, but I think they're going to have a lock that they can take me out with at some point here. So we've only lost 3 lands and no Zenith Flares, which is excellent news. 4 lands, no Zenith Flares, down to 34 cards. I'm really hoping for something here, and we're just not getting what we need here. Okay, there's a land. That's excellent. How about a flare? Come on. Zenith flare here. Zenith flare. Because I think we're pretty much at terminal at this point as it sits. And they're going to take Fox off the board. Or they remove some counters, I should say. Okay, and they didn't remove enough to really do much, but we're in trouble here. Now we could lose flares very quickly here. And they're going to come in and whack us. It's going to take at least 2 turns to win this game because we need mana and the flare. I've yet to see a Zenith flare go through there. Down to 27 cards. Land going like crazy. There goes a Zenith flare. Okay, there's a flare, and I don't have the land for it, so that's such a bummer. So we just got to run these guys like crazy. Looking for a land here for next turn. Should be able to get one with 3, and there it is. Okay, so we're going to kill the next turn if they do not kill us first. And we're going to come in. And they're going to block with the crab, I'm pretty sure here. They're not. They know the game here because the flare is on board. If they have any bounce, which is altogether possible, we're in deep, deep trouble. But I think we've lost 2 of the flares at this point. 2 flares down. They're doing the math. They know that we've got at least 1 in our hand. They've got nothing but black mana up. Nothing but black mana. So they're in deep trouble. I don't know what they were thinking. They should have kept some bounce. They think they can get us here. Unless they have a blue mana. I think they played mana this game right there. Okay, there it is. Hope you enjoyed. So, Zenith Flare, go play it. You know, especially like a new player, you know, you're getting into Arena or something. Whoa. Carry it right up there. There are cheap cards. So, hope you enjoyed. Please consider subscribing. I'd love suggestions about builds you'd like to see, likes, anything. So, love to hear some feedback. Thanks a bunch. Take care.